This story would begin on planet Earth on the birthday of Bulma, the wife of Vegeta. As usual, both Saiyans began to have a friendly training, beginning to move throughout the sea and the planet Earth, because their powers had reached incalculable powers. However, the deities of Universe 7 had a great conspiracy against the Goku Saiyans, or rather, the entire Divine Kingdom had a conspiracy against him, because his power seemed to have no limits. So the Great Priest would begin to take precautions before Goku was able to discover his plan, which was to overthrow the King of all in Osama. So he had granted the mission to the deities of Universe 7 to get rid of Son Goku. Hey Whis, I know that the Great Priest has informed you about the potential danger that Son Goku is, since he does not care about the consequences in order to become more powerful. I understand your point of view, Mr. Beerus, but although Son Goku has been part of our lives, we cannot disobey the orders of the Great Priest. Both Saiyans continued to fight. However, Beerus had a great flashing speed would face both Saiyans, throwing a great sphere of destruction at them, and both warriors being in their base state were unable to do anything. However, Goku, at the moment that he would begin to be sucked by that great sphere, he would notice how Vegeta in his place began to perish before that great attack. Damn it, if I could only release all my power. What the hell are you supposed to do, you stupid cat? I apologize, and especially to you, Vegeta, who turns out to be a collateral damage, but the High Commands have ordered to end Son Goku's life. Goku, while trying to stop the attack, would be very surprised. In that case, Vegeta, you have nothing to do. It has been a pleasure to be your rival, and thanks for every adventure we have lived. I would have liked to say goodbye to my family. At the moment, Goku, despite not being able to release all his power, was able to channel a large part of all his power. So the Great Sphere would begin to disintegrate Goku, or that was what it seemed, because at that moment, the Great Sphere would equally become much larger. But seconds later, it would disappear completely, causing a slight explosion, which would leave everyone surprised. We have finished with the life of Mr. Goku, since his energy has completely disappeared, but now it is my turn. Before the Z-Warriors were able to do something, Whis, with his great angelic power, was able to eliminate the Saiyan Goku from all the memories of the warriors, positioning Vegeta as the most powerful Saiyan in the entire Universe 7. As with his help and that of the Emperor of Evil, Frieza, they won the power tournament. I have finished my part, Mr. Beerus, but it will be better to leave because your memories may still be affected. I understand, Whis. In that case, let's go to our planet. Let's inform the Great Priest that we have fulfilled the mission. Both deities left again to their planet, so the moment they arrived, Whis, with the help of his Piccolo, would communicate with the Great Priest of Inshinkan. Father, we have finished with the mission. In the entire Universe 7, nobody knows about the existence of Mr. Goku. Now only the other angels must erase the existence of Mr. Goku from each of his warriors. Excellent, Whis. It has been of great help, and of course, I will communicate with each of the other angels so that they take the respective measures on each of their warriors. The communication of both would end. However, Beerus was very thoughtful. What happens, my lord? I understand that you did not want to betray Mr. Goku, but you being a god of destruction, I did not think that for a warrior he would be like that. I'm fine, Whis, but damn it, thanks to Mr. Goku, we were able to survive in the Tournament of Power. I cannot believe that we have betrayed him as if it were nothing. But my lord, if we had not done it, we would have been pulverized by the Great Priest, and he would have ended the threat of all the universes in the same way. Hey Whis, do you really consider a threat to Goku? It can be said that I find myself in a neutral point because Mr. Goku, despite his character, always put the whole Universe 7 in trouble. But in the same way, with his great power, he was able to solve every problem that existed. Meanwhile, in Universe 7, but from a very different timeline. That's right, several years ago we can see how Goku would fall on a planet with multiple wounds. However, none of these wounds were serious, so Goku, a little confused, would get up. Ouch! What the hell has happened? That damn cat betrayed me. What would he mean by the high commands? I don't think my friend Senozuma was able to betray me. But inside his clothes he was able to find a very spherical pearl, or better known as a divine rune, which at the moment of Goku holding it and making a little energy flow, you can see a hologram of Beerus. Son Goku, if you are seeing this, it is because we have already betrayed you. It really is not something that I wanted, but the great priest of Inshinkan has given you the order to end your life, and in case we refuse, we will be eradicated. Mr. Goku, I have taught you everything you need to be able to overcome your limits. I know that you will be able to do with the power beyond the gods and angels. I have sent you to another timeline, but being so hasty, I do not know if it was to the past or to the future, but I know that with your great power, you will be able to survive. So the damn thing behind all this is the useless Denshinkan. In that case, Whis and Beerus were only used. I have to do whatever is necessary to be able to return to my timeline and end that miserable one. But I have to become more powerful.
So I'm back in time, just when Frieza tried to destroy my planet, but this time I won't allow it. Bardock's attack. Being completely destroyed, Goku with a slight wave of energy was able to disintegrate Frieza's attack, leaving the Emperor of Evil surprised because he did not possess the characteristic armor of the Saiyans. Who the hell are you, damn monkey? You are very similar to the Saiyan who opposed me a few moments ago, but you have something that intrigues me. Frieza, I know everything about you, but it will be better for you to transform, since you do not have the opportunity against me, although it does not matter if you do, since in the same way you have no possibility against me. What? How do you know that I can transform? None of my soldiers have been able to see my transformations, as for a simple monkey like you to know? I'll tell you, since after all, you will die. I have already finished with your life. I come from the future, and I am what you have feared so much. I am the legendary Super Saiyan. Frieza's expression would change completely, but without trusting the slightest, Frieza would access his last form, with which his power was incredible for all the soldiers, with the exception of Goku, who was only a simple breeze. I don't know if you really come from the future, but there is something in you that even scares me, so I'm not going to trust myself. I'll finish you off with the next attack. Frieza at great speed would begin to grant them thousands of blows all over the place. The blows, despite connecting in Goku's body, did not have the slightest effect. Frieza with great power would send Goku to fly to a part of the planet, causing great destruction all around. However, Goku would get up a little disappointed. You really are weak, or is it just that I have returned so much in time? I can't believe that in our first battle you turned me into an unreachable being. Damn worm, don't make fun of me. I'm the Emperor of the... Before Frieza was able to finish his sentence, Goku, with a single blow to the stomach, had made him fall to the ground, writhing in pain, while Goku would begin to walk to where Frieza had fallen. Frieza, no matter what the timeline is, apparently you will always be the villain, and no one can take that away from you. But I hope you enjoy the field of flowers that you have told me so much about. In the future, we will need you for a tournament. Goku with a great sphere of energy was able to completely eliminate Frieza, while all the other soldiers began to flee the planet because they did not understand how a single warrior was able to end the life of his emperor without the slightest difficulty. Instantly, Goku would approach the warrior who had given life throughout his planet, realizing that he indeed was identical to him, while all the other Saiyans were very scared. At the moment, Bardock would observe him, asking him to take him to a recovery capsule, so Goku, at great speed, would grant him a little of his energy. Because Bardock was in terrible condition, when he arrived, Bardock would be attended with the respective measures so that he recovers completely. For his part, Goku would go to the top of an old planet mountain, beginning to meditate and in the same way trying to feel the power of the deities of Universe 7. Apparently Mr. Beerus is asleep at the moment since I am not able to feel his power and I still do not have the necessary power to feel the power of Whis. Instantly, in front of Goku, King Vegeta would appear a little nervous as well as intrigued. "I am King Vegeta, and I am the ruler of this planet. I would like to know who you are, and how is it possible that you have so much in common with Bardock? Are you his son?" Goku at the moment would remember a conversation he had had with Vegeta a few years ago. "I'm sure your father was Bardock, since they both had the same face of imbeciles, but your father was not as hollow-headed as you are. I did not know that my father was identical to me. I would love to meet him." Goku would be taken aback by King Vegeta, who was waiting for an answer. "That's right, my name is Kakarot, and I am a Saiyan who could not allow our planet to be destroyed by that damn Frieza. I understand. I just hope to have your support. You will be the most powerful warrior on the entire planet Vegeta, and you will be the supreme commander of the elite class of the Saiyans. I appreciate the trust and the position, but I refuse, since within a very short time I plan to leave the planet. But before I go, I will tell you who I really am, but all in due time." "I understand. In that case, we will leave." King Vegeta, along with his elite of warriors, would leave the mountain, so Goku was able to feel the power of his father, teleporting quickly to where he was, arriving just when Bardock began to leave the recovery capsule, finding himself very confused by everything that had happened. "Ouch, my head hurts a bit. But what happened? I should be dead. Frieza's attack was able to completely destroy my attack. How the hell am I alive?" Bardock was surprised when in front of him he would observe Goku. "Who are you? Now I remember. You were the one who saved me. With Frieza's attack, I was about to end my life, but... And Frieza? Where is Frieza? We have to flee, since otherwise he will end us." "You don't have to worry about that. I've ended the life of Frieza. And I am Kakarot, the Saiyan who you sent to Earth when you were just a baby." "What? That's impossible. My son is only a few weeks old. He couldn't grow up so fast. So tell me, who are you?" It would be better to leave this place to be able to talk without interruptions. Goku would hold Bardock and use teleportation, leaving for an inhospitable place on the old planet. However, Bardock would get into battle pose. "Have you decided to bring me here so that there is no one to end my life? Although I have been able to end the life of Frieza, I will not die without fighting. Father, I am really your son. Only that I come from the future, and I have been able to prevent the destruction of the old planet. Because of the future in which I come from, all the Saiyans die, and only 3 or 4 survive. If what you say is true, then tell me, who is your brother?" "My brother was called Raditz, but in my time I had to end his life, because he kidnapped my son, and he intended to end his life. I still don't believe that you are my son. But tell me, how do you have so much power? You were classified as a low-class warrior, so you cannot possess all the power you say. A low-class warrior can overcome even an elite warrior. Father, I have even been able to overcome the gods of destruction."
Gods of destruction? I don't know what you're talking about. For his part, returning to the original timeline, Grand Priest was preparing his perfect plan to end Sinnoh-sama's life and become the king of everything. In the kingdom of everything, Sinnoh-sama was playing with his counterpart of the future, while Grand Priest would begin to launch his plan to be able to destroy and take over the power of the great Sinnoh-sama. This will be much more complex because there are currently 4 guardians and 2 kings of everything. But in the same way, if I stay with the power of all of them, I will even have to evolve into a new body. Grand Priest, realizing that the king of everything was like a simple child, would be in charge of making a game, which consisted of filling 2 spheres of divine energy. The being that fills the spheres with more power would be the winner. So, at the time of sharing his idea, both kings of everything got excited, beginning to transmit their energies, while the guardians watched a little disbelieving. What is Grand Priest supposed to have in mind? This game is not recommended for a king of everything, since he must possess the power required for the balance of the 12 universes. For his part, both kings of everything would continue to inject a large part of all their power into each of the energy spheres, so at the time it was a draw. But the moment they wanted to regain their powers, it was impossible for them, because each energy sphere did not allow the power to be returned to its bearer. So Grand Priest, in a quick move, was able to cut both Sino-samas in two. So the four guardians, without waiting for anything, launched themselves against Grand Priest. This technique, being created by me, cannot fail me. Grant me 25% of the power of a Sino-sama energy sphere. An incredible power would enter the body of Grand Priest, creating a barrier. But to his surprise, the four guardians began to hit as well as attacking the barrier. However, they were not able to do absolutely anything against that powerful barrier. We will have to unite, since we are also creations of the great Sino-sama. We must be able to have a similar power by uniting. The four guardians began to unite, so their power would begin to multiply thousands of times. That's right, being a divine union, it was not just a simple fusion, which added the powers of both warriors. No, being the divine union, each warrior was able to multiply their power by 100, and being four warriors, they were able to increase it 400 times more. While by uniting the four guardians, the plus of energy they achieved was able to crack the barrier only with their energy. What the hell? I didn't understand that those bastards were able to unite. No, damn it, this can be dangerous, but I have no alternative. Grand Priest at the time began to absorb the energy of both spheres, being able to accumulate all the power of Sino-sama inside it, but the body of a guardian angel was not able to support it, so it seemed to explode. That's right, Grand Priest's body, despite being one of the most resistant, did not support the power of two kings at all. Damn it, this hurts a lot. I will really need the body of a warrior with a much greater resistance than mine. Grand Priest at the time would begin to mutate his body due to the fact that all the power he was obtaining. And being a guardian priest, also known as the celestial angel, and being corrupted by negative energy, at this moment his energy would begin to change to a dark one, while he would be called the new angel of death, or priest of the underworld of Sino-sama. But his bones began to be destroyed by the excess of energy, while at that moment the barrier he had placed would be destroyed into 1,000 pieces. We have merged, and at this moment it does not matter what you do, Grand Priest, we will end your life. But the merger of the Guardians was also surprised to realize how Grand Priest's appearance had completely changed, while in his aura, an incredible warrior who was capable of intimidating any being, rose throughout the kingdom of everything, being able to even intuit terror to the powerful fusion. I am not capable of dominating all this power, but it does not matter. With this it is enough, and this body is capable of supporting the power of both kings of everything. Now I am known as the priest of the underworld, but I would like to call myself the priest destroyer of gods. The fusion with great determination would be launched against Grand Priest. However, his power had changed in an incredible way, being so much that the power that Grand Priest unleashed was capable of killing hundreds of living beings who were close to the kingdom of everything, being able to only observe how he left rivers of blood just like his bones. I want to prove how my infernal aura is capable of killing you, damn. Grand Priest was able to make his simple aura move, beginning to grant a beating to the fusion. The damage that each blow caused him was barbaric, due to the fact that at this time the power that Grand Priest possessed was much superior. The fusion would be sent to a nearby planet, causing destruction all around, while Grand Priest would descend from the atmosphere of the planet with incredible authority.
They took the wrong side. At this moment, it does not matter what they do. I will end their pathetic existence, while I will create my next guardian. Grand Priest would create a powerful energy golem, so he was able to absorb the vital and divine energy of the fusion, leaving absolutely nothing. That's right, even his bones were pulverized, so at the moment the golem was able to transmit it in energy. I have to be able to dominate all this power. But now that I am the king of this multiverse, I need a guardian. I will create one with my new power. Grand Priest would go to a three-dimensional room in which he would begin his new training to control 100% of the power of both kings of everything. For his part, returning to the past, Goku went to tell Bardock each of his adventures, from the moment he arrived on planet Earth until he was even able to win the power tournament, even being able to overcome all the gods of destruction. You don't know how much I'm proud of you, my son, and I want you to meet your mother now. I'm sure she will only recognize you when she sees you. Both Saiyans began to head towards Bardock's house, so when they arrived, they could see a Saiyan's woman who was cooking while her Bardock was recovering. But at the moment, both Saiyans appeared in front of Ginny, which got a little angry because they had scared her. "Ah, Bardock, I've told you thousands of times that I don't like you to appear like that. The next time you can even scare me to death." But he was surprised to see a warrior identical to Bardock. For a while, to analyze him, he would approach.
But how is this possible? You are Kakarot. I am your mother, but I'm sure something must have happened. If only a few days ago we sent you to planet Earth. Wow, I'm surprised you really recognized me. I didn't think you would be able to do it, since it's the first time you really see me. There is no doubt, this Saiyan is really Kakarot when he has grown enough, so right now we will tell Jin'ei everything that happened. Both warriors told Jin'ei everything that had happened. However, Goku had avoided telling them how he had gotten to the past, so at the moment Goku had decided to train his father so that he is able to reach the variants of the Super Saiyans. For his part, returning to the divine kingdom of the present, a gigantic shadow or aura could be observed everywhere. This shadow had yellowish eyes, as well as only his aura was able to end the lives of thousands of warriors, be they gods or angels, because his destructive power had grown in an amazing way. This power is incredible, and in the room that I have trained, I have had better results since it's a different dimension, but I need to create a priestess. That's right. When Denshin-kan was corrupted by the excess of divine energy, just like his heart had been corrupted little by little for a few thousand years, he would choose to create a woman who would be his guardian, because he had other intentions with that guardian. Denshin-kan would use a large part of all his power with which he would begin his great creation. After a few weeks, it could be seen how Denshin-kan had been successful. That's right, this powerful warrior who had an enviable figure would be called Freya, which at the moment of opening her eyes, an incredible power would be felt all over the place, just like lava spread throughout the entire kingdom. Because being created by the priestess of the underworld, her power would be colossal in the same way, but on her, the powerful Aurora Denshin-kan was able to terrify her, which made her come into control. So you were the one who created me. For me, it is an honor, so I am willing to any disposition that you grant me. I understand. In that case, let's go to my bedroom, because for a long time I have not been with any goddess for the fact that I was plotting my revenge. Both would leave. Meanwhile, in Universe 7, Beerus and Whis in the same way felt like the pillar of that entire multiverse had lost its life, because being the most powerful deities of the 12 universes, their perception of energy was much greater. Whis, if it seems so, we have done the right thing in sending Goku to a totally different timeline. He will be able to solve everything that is happening. That's right, Mr. Beerus. But there are really two possibilities. The first is that Mr. Goku stays in that timeline and is not able to return, and the second is what you are saying, Mr. Beerus. But he must have an incredible power to defeat Denshin-Khan. I trust Goku, since no matter how complicated the situation has been, he has always been able to get ahead, so he is the salvation of this timeline. Returning to the past, Goku had been able to teach his father the different transformations of the Super Saiyans, and Bardock was able to even reach the Super Saiyan Phase 3 in a short period of time. However, the wear and tear of his energy was unparalleled, so he would start again from the bases to have complete control over each of his transformations. Father, Mother, at this moment I will leave because I have to find out a few things about how I got to this place, so I will return in a few months. I understand, Kakarot, and when you return, I want to have a fight with all your power, with that transformation that you dominate, the state of the God Saiyan. I am looking forward to seeing you. Haha. Okay, Father. In that case, you must continue training, since for you to be able to dominate the state of a god, you must be able to dominate the mortal state first. Goku would immediately begin to move through all the 12 universes with the intention of finding a perfect place for his training. At the moment, he would be at the top of a planet, starting to think about the possible places. A good option is the Room of Time, but after a while, the same effect no longer arises. I need a much more strict place. Goku would continue his great journey through each of the 12 universes. However, on the border of Universe 12, a very remote place was found. So Goku, when approaching at great speed, was able to cross that great barrier. But the moment he entered that universe, he would notice how his body had become a little heavier. Wow, what is this place? My body has become much heavier. It even seems that the energy that spreads throughout this place is much greater than the flow of energy. But Goku, at the moment, would feel a strange power, but without being able to react to a powerful blow, he was sent to a planet, causing a great destruction everywhere. So Goku, leaning on one of his arms, was able to hold on, but blood spread throughout his body due to such incredible power. That has hurt me too much. It has the same power as a god of destruction. But this universe does not have divine energy. Who the hell is hitting me? From the top of the planet, an incredible dark energy would begin to manifest, while a red eye would completely observe Goku, which this time would feel like his whole body was going through a chill, as well as a feeling of terror. But Goku would expel the state beyond a god. That's right, Goku would let all the divine energy flow through his body. Who are you? And how have you been able to hit me with such power? But a known voice would leave him astonished. So when that aura that covered the warrior dissipated, a being identical to Goku could be observed, but this warrior was wearing an armor very similar to that of the Saiyans. I don't know who the hell you are, but you are identical to me, although I am not able to feel your energy. You make me very strange, but I'm surprised that you have been able to resist one of my blows. I don't know who the hell you are, but your energy is disgusting. In your aura, I can see how you have ended the lives of thousands of innocent people. We are Saiyans. Destruction and chaos are in our veins. But I don't care. Right now, I will show you a few modals. Goku would get into battle position, preparing to attack, but he was not able to see when the warrior had given him a blow of incredible power, which made him fall to the ground with an incredible pain. The moment Goku fell to the ground, several mountains were destroyed by the impact, while the warrior would throw thousands of energy towards Goku. Is that all? I thought you were a warrior Saiyan. Of course, I want you to show me what you are capable of doing. This damn thing easily surpasses a Phase 3 Saiyan.
I will have to use my divine energy with my ordinary transformations, but first I will use all my power in my base state. I can't believe a Saiyan who hasn't trained with a god has that power! Goku at the moment stood up, channeling all the divine energy into his base state, so at the moment he had balanced against the warrior. They both started with a great battle, however it didn't matter what he did, because this time the result was inevitable. The Saiyans would begin to hit Goku, who would hardly be able to defend himself. In a slight carelessness, the Saiyans was able to send him to the ground with multiple wounds. You are the warrior who has endured the most of my blows. For that reason, I will show you something. The warrior would give a bite to a fruit, which was known as the sacred fruit. After a few seconds, the warrior's power would rise exponentially, while the whole universe began to tremble due to all that power. The whole universe in which they were began to tremble in an incredible way. However, at the moment, a power of the same gigantic form would be present. Although Turles was not able to feel the power of Goku, he had noticed how an incredible pressure spread throughout the battlefield. So instantly a blue aura would rise everywhere, while Goku would begin to access the Super Saiyan's blue. I am surprised by the power you possess, and although you do not have the divine energy, your power is even capable of being compared to the power of the gods. But my power goes much further than that, so get ready. Wow, I can't believe it. With what you have told me, I can realize that you do not belong to this timeline, but you will reveal all the secrets to be able to access that state of God that you say. Both were fixedly observed, so instantly they began to exchange thousands of blows all over the place. Their battle would spread throughout the universe. Although Goku had used the power of a god, his body continued to weigh a little, while his enemy was completely relaxed, being the environment in which he had trained most of his life. Goku, with his incredible speed, was able to hold him by the head, making him crash into a planet, being able to cause him great damage because the power he had used was overwhelming. However, from the top of the whole place, a giant of dark energy was able to give him an incredible blow, which in the same way had sent him to the end of the planet. How is he able to continue hurting me if I have the energy of a god? Although I don't like to accept it, he, at this moment, is a mere mortal. Unlike me, I can see that with you, I will have to use all my power. Since the grip you have used against me has been effective, you have caused me great damage. What? He still hides much more power? This really won't be easy at all. The Dark Saiyan this time would begin to access the Super Saiyans, with which his power would increase in an enormous way. But at the moment, a great explosion would be created, so he would take advantage of it to be able to give him an incredible blow to Goku's face, which at the moment was able to recover, and again they began to exchange thousands of blows. But this time both warriors were very equal, which would leave Goku very surprised, because he possessed the energy of a god. At the moment, both warriors took a little distance, while Turles would begin to laugh like a maniac. I can see that you are a very powerful warrior, so with you I will be able to use all my power, since no warrior had forced me to use this power.
Goku's look would change to one of total confusion, while a little fear would begin to run through his entire body, which he had not experienced in so long. The power of Turles would begin to rise in an incredible way, while his hair would return to its black color again, but this time it would begin to grow in a great way, while his aura was capable of moving hundreds of meters away from Goku. What the hell? Who is this Saiyan? How is it possible that he has all that power? The power of Turles at the end would make Goku enter a complete terror, since even his aura warned him about the risk of facing that subject, since at the moment, Turles' aura was hundreds of times higher than Goku's. Sorry for the delay. I'm just not used to accessing this transformation, since it is the first warrior with whom I will try it. Goku, before being able to say anything, Turles was able to hold him by the head, beginning to destroy an entire planet with Goku's body, which while being dragged, blood spread throughout his body. Turles, with great power, would send him to a few mountains, creating a great explosion. Apparently, you are not even capable of supporting all the power of my most powerful transformation. In that case, I will have to finish you once and for all. Goku, in one of his hands, would begin to channel all his power, so that the moment Turles would begin to approach, being a few meters away, Goku would throw his incredible attack. But to his surprise, Turles was able to stop his attack with his simple hand, and at the moment Turles would expel a great sphere of energy, which sent Goku flying, while in the same way he had returned to his base state in terrible condition. Damn it, I'll really die in this place. I cannot believe that all of this happens. Returning to the present, Grand Priest had been able to dominate all the power of the Guardians, as well as the power of the kings of everything, as well in the same way that he had had excellent moments with Freya, since his heart and mind had been completely corrupted. However, Freya's heart, in the same way, contained pure evil, although a little the essence of the original Angel Grand Priest, which would make everyone question everything they did. Is everything that Grand Priest is doing really correct? In short, he is my creator. Although he has granted me great power, we should not do intimate things. Freya would be taken out of her thoughts by the voice of Grand Priest, who requested his help for a new training, and in the same way that Freya increase his power in an incredible way. To begin with the plan to eradicate all the creation of Zenozama. Freya, upon reaching Grand Priest, was terrified when she observed a giant with yellow eyes staring at her. So Freya would increase all her power by throwing thousands of destructive energies. A large curtain of dust would rise all over the place, not being able to scratch her, which this time almost make her wet her pants with the terror she had. There is nothing to worry about, Freya, since this is my aura, which I am trying to completely dominate, and I want you to be able to invoke it in the same way.
I can also invoke that thing, but what is it supposed to do? At this moment, we will access another dimension in which we will begin with our new training, and I will teach you to master your killer aura and dark power. I understand, Grand Priest Sama. I will do everything you ask of me. I promise not to disappoint you. I completely trust you, and together we will be able to bring absolute destruction to the entire divine kingdom. Although we have finished with the pillar, I am sure that the Celestials, the beings that are above the king of everything, really exist. The Celestials, with all the knowledge you have given me, I have no data on warriors of such a name. Who are they? It is said that the Celestials only appear when a multiverse is about to fall in the face of the agony and destruction of everything that is in it. And if we are able to defeat them, we will be able to access a world that no being has been able to reach. Wow, that sounds amazing. Let's train, Grand Priest Sama, please. And I want to become just as powerful as you. I hope you are prepared, since my training is extremely complicated, and I hope you have the resistance to endure it." Both warriors, the moment they reached that dimension, began their great training, in which Freya would begin to move around the place while only the aura of Grand Priest was able to stop each of his attacks. Although to be able to maintain the technique active, he had to have almost infinite energy reserves, but if he was able to achieve it, his defense was almost impossible to break, and Grand Priest and Freya would be aware of this, since despite the fact that Freya would use each of his techniques and powers, he was not able to do anything against Grand Priest, Thousand Palm of the Divine Priest. The aura was able to attack Freya with thousands of blows, which, despite being limited in energy, were able to cause incredible damage, making him fall to a place on the ground where they were training. Returning to the past, Goku's screams were able to be heard throughout the universe. However, Turles, getting bored of torturing him, would watch him fixedly, while his expression was of superiority. "You are something powerful, but before all my power, you turned out to be more than a simple ant, so it will be better if you end your pathetic life." Turles would throw several energy spheres at Goku, which at this moment was able to dodge each of them, while at the moment his power would begin to rise, the more spheres he threw at Turles. His power began to increase the moment Goku opened his eyes, realizing that the color had changed to a silver one. And from an incredible scream all over the place, Goku's aura would grow in a great way, starting to walk, and instantly all Goku's hair would turn silver, while his energy would disappear completely, as well as the pressure that Goku released. What is this transformation? At this moment, even your incredible pressure has disappeared completely. Is it a useless transformation? While Turles laughed uncontrollably, Goku was able to approach with incredible speed, propelling him a right blow in the center of the stomach, which was powerful enough to make him vomit large amounts of blood. What? How was he able to cause me so much damage with a single blow? Turles would begin to stand up again, however he would fall to the ground again, vomiting a lot more blood. That's right. Goku's single blow contained so much power that the damage he had received was incredible, so Turles had a hard time standing up. Meanwhile, Goku would begin to approach Turles, who would try to do everything to stand up, but it was completely impossible for him due to the great difference in powers. However, at the time, Turles, with all his determination, was able to stand up, although he had suffered incredible physical damage. But the really serious damage was the mental damage, since no one had ever humiliated him in such a way, so for the first time he would begin to feel the real terror, beginning to tremble uncontrollably. What is this feeling? Damn it! Am I afraid of this damn subject? What is this transformation? Even his pressure has disappeared completely, but the power that is able to free me is overwhelming. Turles, no matter how his body felt, had launched himself against Goku, who, this time, had total control of the battle, beginning to humiliate Turles with each exchange of blows, because Turles' speed was not compared to the reaction time of the Ultra Instinct. For that reason, Goku was able to dodge and hit him, while Turles had not been able to connect a single blow, and Goku connected each blow to him at the time. So, Goku, using a little more of his power, was able to send him flying, being dragged by a few mountains around him. However, at the moment, Goku would notice how even his internal system would begin to decrease its power the longer the battle lasted, so he had decided to end the battle. I planned to end this battle that should never have started, since I had not done anything to disrespect you, but right now, I plan to send you to the other world. Do not think that I plan to surrender so easily. Goku would begin to channel all his power, and in a definitive attack, while Turles would begin to gather all the remaining power he had. So at the moment, both warriors launched their definitive techniques, although at the moment, the clash of powers seemed somewhat even.
Goku, by increasing his power much more, was able to destroy Turles' attack in less than 3 seconds. So the combined attack was able to not leave any ashes on Turles' body. Goku would at the moment descend to the surface of a planet, and with a loud scream his power would plummet, while purple-colored rays began to come out of his entire body, as well as too much blood. This was the same thing that happened to me in the power tournament. The power beyond the gods. I have to master it completely to be able to use this power without having all these side effects. Damn it! Returning to the present, Grand Priest, along with Freya, were able to finish their great training, so they were determined to finish off each god and angel. That's right. Although the angels were their children, their avarice would lead them to end the lives of all their children. Grand Priest, we are ready. Where do you want us to start? I will give a message to all 12 universes so that they know what they are going to face. Grand Priest would release all his aura for all 12 universes, being able to observe the incredible being at the top of all 12 universes, causing all divine beings to panic. But Grand Priest's voice would resound in every corner. Gods and angels, I hope you are prepared, since from today, I am the new ruler, and I plan to end the creation of Zenosama completely. And an apology to you, angels, since I plan to end you no matter what my children are. The incredible aura would disappear from all over the place, leaving all divine beings with too many questions. For their part, in the 7th universe, Beerus and Whis would be fixedly observed. So that's what it was all about. For that damn reason, the new king of Grand Priest asked us to finish Son Goku, since he is the only warrior capable of ending all this farce. Indeed, Mr. Beerus, but do not worry, since even though we are destroyed by Grand Priest, you and I know that Mr. Goku is becoming more and more powerful. He will end my father's kingdom. You're right, Whis, but I hope Goku is able to defeat Grand Priest. Since he has even been able to end Zenosama's life, his power must have increased in an incredible way. I agree with you, Mr. Beerus, but we have to trust Goku. He has always been able to find a solution to every problem. Returning to Goku, he was meditating to fully recover, while in the same way he was trying to access the Ultra Instinct at his own will to be able to master it and take his power to the next level. While Grand Priest was ready to gather all his troops and finish each being of divine energy. My lord, we are all ready, and waiting for your order to end the divine kingdom. It's time, the new priest of death, and you, Freya, my priestess, we must be the only rulers. Grand Priest, along with Freya, began to move through each universe. However, in all this time, each of the gods and angels had decided to meet with the most powerful god, which was the god Beerus of Universe 7. Brother, what will we do? The presence of the great Zenosama has completely disappeared. In case everything that Grand Priest has said is true, none of us will be able to do anything against him. Champa is right, since none of us has the power required to face Grand Priest, but we will not fall without fighting. Gods and angels, Grand Priest some time ago asked me to eliminate Son Goku from all the universes, even to erase his very existence, so that he would not be able to be reborn. But if what you say is true, that means that Grand Priest feared that Saiyans, and you, damned Beerus, you have finished our last hope. The powerful god of Universe 4 with a great fury had swung against Beerus, giving him a powerful blow to the face which would cause great devastation everywhere. However, when the smoke dissipated, it could be seen how Beerus, with a single hand and without any effort, was holding the neck strongly to the god of Universe 4. Let me finish talking, damned worm. And no, I have not finished with Son Goku, but I had to send him to a different timeline. When I'm ready, he will be able to help us in this great war. For the moment, we have to be the resistance of the multiverse. Brother, I understand what you are giving us to understand, but it is practically impossible, since he was even able to defeat Zeno and his guardians. Simple gods like us will not be able to do anything. With that pathetic mentality you have, of course we will not be able to do anything. The first thing we must do is change our mentality completely so as not to be useless. I understand everything you say, Beerus, but that is practically impossible because the power of a god cannot even be compared to the power of an angel, much less with the power of Grand Priest. Beerus, at the moment with a big smile and putting one of his hands on his planet, would begin to channel a large part of all his power. That's right, the increase and true power of Beerus would begin to be present, because this time the power he was able to release was a bestiality. After a few moments, a large explosion of destructive energy could be observed all over the place, while instantly, a completely different Beerus could be observed that even his power was able to overshadow the power of the angels present, with the exception of the power of Whis, because he had also followed a rigorous training to be able to become more powerful, while the Deva angels and gods were not even able to move due to the pressure emanated by Beerus, because in the new state, his power was even able to eliminate it with a blow. This is the power I have achieved in my arduous training, but beings like you who think that you are not capable of increasing your power much more are pathetic beings. Only we can know our limit. My brothers and gods, to face Densinkan, we will have to team up again with the mortals of the 12 universes. Just like all the angels, we will form a single being, while the immortal gods in the same way. That means that only 3 of us must face Densinkan. That is right, Champa, since no matter how many warriors we gather, if our power is insignificant, we will not be able to do anything. But if we join together, we have some possibility, while our ace arrives under the sleeve. In that case, it will be better to warn each of our warriors and begin to prepare ourselves so that we are able to be ready for the great threat that is approaching. Each god and angel had left for their respective universe, to this time ask for help from the most powerful mortals of the kingdom of everything, while for his part, Beerus had returned to his basic form. So Whis and Beerus began to walk around the planet while they talked about everything that had happened. Hey Whis, since we know the intentions of Densinkan, it's time to do it. We must return all the memories to the territories of planet Earth. I agree with you, Mr. Beerus, so that Mr. Vegeta even has the impulse to become much more powerful. We must not lose this war. We must resist as long as possible until Mr. Goku returns. Returning to the past, Goku had completely recovered throughout this time, so he had trained on that inhospitable planet, which on this occasion began to assimilate all that gravity, which on the first day did not even allow him to move freely. While Goku spent more time in that place, he was able to feel how each vein of energy was dilated much more. That's right, his veins were able to expand and transport much more energy, but very few warriors were able to continue with that training in that universe, because sometimes even the bones were broken by the pressure. The power that I'm getting is incredible, but in the same way, it is very painful. I can't believe that there is a universe with these conditions. I have to become much more powerful. I'm sure something very bad is about to happen in my timeline. Goku would continue with his great training, which after about 8 months, Goku had been able to master the Ultra Instinct in its entirety, being able to access that state at will and without having side effects that put his life at risk. Finally, I have been able to master the Ultra Instinct.
At this moment, I must be able to take my body to a new level. I have to be able to dominate the energy of the angels. Goku would return to the imperfect Ultra Instinct, with which he would begin to move through each of the 12 universes, being able to reach Universe 7, which would leave him surprised, since Beerus was training with Whis, but at the sac energy comes from above us. Who the hell are you? Apparently you are a Saiyan, but your energy is even capable of comparing with the power of the gods.
Beerus at a speed of this tire would pose behind Goku, trying to hit him, but being centimeters away from touching his body, Goku was able to move to one side of Beerus, granting him a slight blow, which was powerful enough to send him to the ground to crash, causing a great destruction all over the place. Whis was surprised, because at first glance it seemed a simple blow. He was amazed by the fact that he was able to disintegrate hundreds of mountains all over the planet, and the planet of a god of destruction was much more resistant than any planet. This is incredible. I cannot believe the power you possess. At first glance, it is a Saiyan who has been able to dominate a part of the Ultra Instinct, the state beyond the gods. As observant as always, Whis, but I did not think you would be able to notice my Ultra Instinct if I have it at the lowest level. This mortal is very peculiar. He knows my name, and apart he says that the state he uses of the Ultra Instinct is the lowest. That must not be possible. Of a great explosion, Beerus would expel all his power because the power he had received had caused him incredible damage. So at the moment he had thrown himself against Goku, who without any difficulty was able to dodge each of his blows without much effort. That's right, the power that Goku possessed this time was enough to face an angel. And so he used all his power. He was even able to battle Beerus before he absorbed all the power of Zenozama. Goku, with a slight blow again, was able to send him to a few rocks, in which Beerus would begin to release too much blood all over his body. Damn it, what the hell is that Saiyan? How is it possible that he is capable of causing me so much damage with a few simple blows? Goku would begin to walk towards Whis, completely turning his back on Beerus, which would make him rage much more. Beerus, using his energy reserves, was launched again, but this time Goku would observe him fixed, and with great mental power, he was able to leave Beerus out of combat, while he would continue to approach Whis. I can see that you do not have bad intentions, since otherwise you would have been able to end the life of Mr. Beerus with a single blow. But who are you? I come from the future, Whis, and I come to ask you to teach me how to dominate the energy of an angel, since in my timeline, Beerus has betrayed us, and I am sure he wants to end everything he has built in Ozama. Help me, please. You are the one I trust. Goku would teach Whis the sphere that Beerus had granted him when he had arrived at this timeline, so Whis would realize that everything that the Saiyan was telling him was the truth. But he had thousands of doubts about why his father would betray the divine. I will help you raise the angelic energy, but first I need you to release all your power to know what level you currently possess. Okay, I'll surprise you, since I have trained tirelessly to have all this great power and be able to save my timeline. Goku would access the Ultra Instinct with which his power was able to make Whis fall into a new transformation since he arrived at that timeline. His body was able to withstand much more energy charge. Goku, realizing how Whis was not even able to move, would decide to return to the imperfect Ultra Instinct again, so that Whis is not affected by his power. Wow, it really shows that my part of the future has trained you in an excellent way. But then tell me, do you want me to give you the secrets of the angelic energy? Since you currently surpass my power thousands of times, I cannot train you. That's right, Whis. With what you give me the knowledge to unlock much more potential with the angelic energy, I know I can do it on my own. Thank you very much. Whis at the time with his great power was able to transmit all the knowledge about the angelic energy to Goku, who was able to fill himself with knowledge, even observing in his mind a transformation far beyond the Ultra Instinct. I appreciate it, Whis. It's time for me to go train. I have to save my timeline. This is how Goku would begin to move around the entire Universe 7 again, arriving at the temple where the Room of Time was located, and not being recognized by the god of the earth. Goku, with his incredible speed, was able to enter the Room of Time without being discovered, so he would begin his new and rigorous training. Returning to the present, all the warriors of Universe 7 had remembered their savior, while even Vegeta remembered his greatest rival. And remembering his last training, but without wasting time, all the mortals had decided to merge with Vegeta. That's right, Vegeta would be the base body to support all the energy load as well as being able to evolve much more, So at the moment, the last warriors present would be Jiren, Toppo, and Hit, who observed the Prince of the Saiyans with a big smile. I never thought I would have to join you Saiyans, but we will do everything necessary for our multiverse to survive. You already have the energy of destruction. You will be of great help to increase your power. We trust you, Vegeta. I will grant you each of my techniques as a killer. Use them wisely and finish those miserables. I trust you, Vegeta. We will be the annihilating resistance of this multiverse. The warrior trio would transform into energy, beginning to enter the entire body of the beginning, to create a new warrior, which on this occasion even Grand Priest and Freya had been able to feel all the magnitude of his power. Grand Priest, that power is gigantic. I dare to say that it is on par with our power. And who is that incredible power? Freya, you are really surprised by so little power? The training we had is precisely for that. It does not matter if a warrior is a little more powerful than us. We have the dark energy and also known as massacre energy. I know, Grand Priest, but do not forget that if a warrior is much more powerful than us, he is capable of neutralizing all types of energy that we use in his body. This Diana she storied blessed than how the warriors of Universe 7 had come together in a timeline, being able to create to a very powerful warrior, and Whis had given him all the knowledge to continue onwards.
Excellent point of view, but that is the fusion of all my children, and they only surpass us slightly. We will be able to defeat them without any problem. But in the same way, two equally gigantic powers were felt all over the place, while at the top of all 12 universes, a giant of light blue energy would be formed. We will be the resistance of the entire Cynosema multiverse. We will not let you end the creation of the king. So you want to compete against me? How interesting. Unfortunately for you, the only warrior who was a threat to me is already dead. It does not matter if you fuse or train. You are mere worms on my side. Grand Priest would in the same way release all his incredible aura, again representing the giant in the entire Cynosema multiverse. That's right, the battle for the throne was about to begin. The good against the bad, while Goku would continue with his great training to be able to defeat Grand Priest once and for all. Grand Priest's aura had also intensified in an incredible way. That's right, this time both sides wanted to end this once and for all. So instantly, without prior notice, both sides began to approach. However, on the side of the gods, the angels, and the fusion of the Saiyans, Vegeta would be the fighters, while all the gods in the same way had joined the body of Beerus. However, Beerus would be of support, since he would reinforce his companions with bursts of energy. At the time, the fusion of the angels had created an imposing being of angelic energy, which had even softened his sword with the energy of a Grand Priest. So instantly the fight between the fusion and Grand Priest would begin, while at that moment Vegeta would face Freya. You sound very confident and brave, but it is a pity that your words cannot be at the height of your strength. What do you think if we check it out, since I want to crush you? Freya, with a flashing movement, had thrown a big blow at him, but was surprised, realizing that Vegeta, with a much faster movement, had been able to lean on his back. It will be better if you take this battle seriously, or else you will come out very wounded, and I do not intend to take responsibility. Furious, Freya would give him a kick, but Vegeta's speed was stunning, or that was what Freya believed, since at the time Vegeta in his first movement was able to propel him with a blow, which made him fall to the ground with incredible power, so much so that he is soon able to leave her out of combat.
Freya would at the time begin to vomit large amounts of blood, since the damage she had caused was of an incredible level. Damn it! What happened? I was not able to see anything. No matter how fast, I have to be able to at least observe when he hits me. What happened? I thought you would be able to do something against me, even if it is with your hands, since if we continue like this, I will get bored. The jump techniques in hits time are very useful. The last thing Vegeta would only think about, so at the moment Freya would begin to increase a large amount of all her power. So at the time, devastations would occur throughout the two universes, but the warriors this time were unable to do anything. Vegeta, it seems he has the battle under control. In that case, I will help him to the angels. Beerus, in the same way, had balanced against Grand Priest in the same way. However, Grand Priest, despite being at a disadvantage, did not look cornered. In fact, he would begin to fight with both without any problem. Despite having merged and fighting both against me, they are not capable of doing anything against me, but I will show them that I am capable. Grand Priest at the time would take a little distance, so his incredible aura would represent him all over the place, beginning to give a beating to both warriors. Vegeta at the time would be aware of the great technique, so he said to himself, I'm sure I can still release a Oozaru, that he's able to repel Grand Priest. I have to try. However, Freya, realizing that Vegeta was with the low guard, balanced against him, but Vegeta's prince of a powerful blow was able to leave her out of combat, so he would close his fists, beginning to concentrate. After a few seconds in which both warriors were still massacred, an incredible aura in the form of an Oozaru could be observed, and without prior notice, he was able to destroy Grand Priest's aura. But his aura in the same way would be destroyed, needing a large part of spiritual energy. What? How have you been able to create an aura like mine? In fact, how have you been able to destroy it? Both deities began to fall, so they would be held by the Prince of the Saiyans, who had transmitted a little of his power to them, so that they were able to defend themselves in case Freya regained consciousness. Do not worry, I will take care of this damned miserable one. I have no intention of losing, so you better prepare yourself, Guardian, good for nothing. I am surprised by the power you have, since despite being only a simple mortal, your energy and skill in battle surpasses those two punches. At the time, both would be observed, and without mediating a word, they would launch one against the other. The battle of both was devastating, so much so that millions of living beings from all 12 universes died. That's right, the amount of unconscious beings was surprising. But Vegeta was not able to stop, as he knew that if they lost, the entire multiverse would be completely eradicated by Grand Priest. Instantly, both were given a powerful blow, which had sent them to fly to a planet. Both began to spit a little blood. Wow, the power of your fists is incredible. You do not compare yourself in anything to the other garbage that I deceived. With you, I can move some of the muscles. Apparently, after all, that stupid girl has not been able to dominate all the dark power, so it will be better if I give her a better use. Grand Priest in a sphere of dark energy would disappear from place, appearing on one side of Freya, which began to regain consciousness, but she was very badly injured. Grand Priest Sama, please help me, and I am sorry I have not been able to meet your expectations. Do not worry. After all, I already knew that you were good for nothing.
Grand Priest would instantly place his hand on the forehead of Freya, which instantly felt an incredible pain, as if her life was being snatched away by her own creator, while the energy began to flow throughout the entire body of Grand Priest. Being a good-for-nothing, it will be better to regain the power that I have placed in you, so at this very moment you will disappear.
Frieza was unable to do absolutely anything against Grand Priest, and instantly would disappear from place since Grand Priest had left absolutely nothing of Freya. While his power had been enhanced in a superhuman way, even each of his wounds had been regenerated. At this moment, I have 100% of all my power again. I am ready for the second assault, so you better prepare yourself, Saiyans. I can't believe the scum you are. You didn't care to snatch your own creation from life? She fought for you, and you get rid of her as if she were absolutely nothing? Ha ha, I don't think you are the ideal person to question me. You Saiyans destroyed planets. You end the life of beings for pure pleasure. I know, and for that same reason, I intend to give my life, to redeem everything I have failed. I have no intention of you ending the life of innocent people. I want to check it to see if you are powerful enough to achieve it, miserable worm. At the moment, both began again with their great battle, but this time, the blows received by the Prince of the Saiyans caused him incredible damage. Mr. Whis spread throughout his body, as well as internal Mr. Whis. The deities, realizing this in the same way, threw themselves in the help of Vegeta. For his part, in the past, Goku had been able to finish with his great training, because this time he had been able to have total control of his energy. So at the moment, he would leave the room of time at an incredible speed that had not even been perceived by anyone. I have to say goodbye to my parents before I leave. Goku would begin to move around the universe, reaching his planet quickly, observing his father, who continued with his rigorous training. Wow, I'm surprised by the power that runs through your body, father. If you continue like this, you will end up surpassing me. There is no doubt about that. Ha ha, Kakarot, how long without seeing you? I have been able to illuminate my energy completely, just like none of my transformations have an energy wear. Father, I'm glad to hear it, and I assure you that when all this passes and I am able to return, I will teach you to master the energy of a god. Are you going to leave, my son? That's right, father. I have to be able to save my timeline, and I feel a bad feeling. I understand, my son. I trust in the power you possess, and please do not forget us. I would never do it. Please say goodbye to my mother. Of course, Kakarot, I will do it. No, damn it, my friends are about to die. This can't be like this. What's going on? Why did the whole multiverse go paralyzed? In front of Goku, a Xeno could be observed, which left him surprised, since according to the possession he had, the great Xeno had died at the hands of Grand Priest. Goku, there is no time. Grand Priest has really betrayed us, and he has taken my power. But not being a worthy being, he will not be able to use even 10% of all my power. But I choose you. I give you the essence of which I once was, the great Xeno. Goku, before being able to say anything, an overwhelming power will begin to enter the entire body of Goku, while his hair began to grow. Since this time, he needs to evolve, since otherwise his body could explode. Do not worry. This time pause lasts approximately 3 months, so I trust that in this time you will be able to dominate all my power. I know you can, friend. After a few hours, Goku was able to contain all the power of Xeno. However, he was not even able to take a step, since his body was so heavy, just like his muscles were too big. But the power that ran through his body was impressive. The power that Xeno has given me is incredible. But I have to be able to dominate it, since it does not matter how much power it has. If I am not able to move, I will end up defeated. Goku in these 3 months would begin to train his new power, because he knew that the power he possessed in Ginkan was not at all low.
Goku in all this time was able to dominate 78% of Xeno's power. However, 3 months had already passed, so at the moment, time would go back to normal. It's time to end your life once and for all. If you are not able to do anything, you do not deserve to be alive. Damn you. I'm sorry, I have not been able to protect you. I am useless. Demons. I hope Goku prepares himself, since the power that this damned traitor possesses is incredible. Thousands of arrows of energy were aimed at the 3 warriors, who had accepted their fate, since the power of Grand Priest, after absorbing Freya, had been enhanced in an incredible way. I have finally been able to end these damned scum. Now I do have to be able to become the master and lord of this pathetic multiverse. However, the arrows of energy were about to collide with the warriors. The arrows began to disintegrate, leaving absolutely nothing, which left Grand Priest very surprised, as did everyone present, since a being of huge angelic energy was able to hold the trio of warriors. What the hell? Who is the being that is capable of releasing all that incredible amount of energy in his aura? While the aura of the angel held him, the trio of warriors had recovered in its entirety, being in the same way surprised, since they did not understand absolutely nothing. But like a flash, an incredible warrior wrapped in a silver aura would stand in front of Grand Priest, which with its simple pressure was able to break several of his bones. Is that the little power you have achieved in all this time? It's a shame, you are nothing more than a worm compared to me. I remember that voice? I remember that damned voice? It is not possible. The deities of Universe 7 informed me about your death, so it cannot be you, Son Goku. Everyone was surprised, but at the moment that the aura would begin to fade, it was possible to observe a very different Goku, since in his body it was even possible to observe the symbols of the great Sino-sama, while his gaze imposed respect. It is a pity that the deities of Universe 7 knew about your plan much earlier, so they were able to send me to a safe place. I knew you would be able to return to Goku. He has been able to end everything created by the great Sino-sama. I'm sorry to leave everything in your hands. Kakarot, you are and will be the most powerful Saiyan of all the universes. There is no doubt about that. Now please make him feel the real terror. Goku would begin to approach Grand Priest, which at the moment, despite everything, would still release all its power, so 2 incredible auras began to collide. Goku had exceeded most of the Grand Priest's power.
To his maximum power with which he was prepared to face Grand Priest, which was still surprised but above all furious to know that he was deceived by the deities of Universe 7. Damn good worms for nothing, we came to end you, Divine Palms. The aura of Grand Priest had bounced against the warriors, however, a similar technique would be executed, but the power this time was much more powerful than that of Grand Priest. Beerus, Whis, I'm sorry for thinking that you had betrayed me. You were able to give me a new opportunity, and I will not let you down. Goku, you really have incredible power, but it is not yet time for you to face Grand Priest. The damn thing has even been done with negative power. Mr. Goku, we will give our lives for you, but leave, since we will not have a savior like you again. Insect, give my life for you? I never thought I would do something so pathetic, but you really are the only warrior who would be able to defeat Grand Priest. Since when do my people die so easily? I will not allow that, since at this very moment I plan to end that miserable worm. Camouflaged in shadow, Grand Priest would move towards Goku's back. However, Grand Priest's fist had been disintegrated when it collided with Goku's sword. You better wait patiently for your death, since I plan to humiliate you in the worst possible way. I plan to make you regret everything you have done. Grand Priest, using a large part of his vital energy, was able to heal his arm by taking a little distance. However, his face could be seen the terror that Son Goku inflicted on him, since negative energy was not easy to destroy. What the hell happened? How was he able to disintegrate my arm? Is his energy much more powerful than the energy of destruction? Goku would create a purple barrier with destructive energy, but in its core, a large amount of celestial energy would not allow Grand Priest's attacks to be able to destroy it, since it had to possess a much more powerful celestial energy. It's time, Grand Priest. At this moment, you will be the warrior who is able to end my life. Or do you have to call the gods to do the dirty work for you? Goku would move at an incredible speed against Grand Priest, being able to give him a slight blow to the chest, only to cause him more panic. Grand Priest, at the time of reacting, would try to take distance, but this time it would not be a slight blow, since Goku, with an incredible blow to his stomach, was able to make him fall to a planet, creating a great destruction for everything in its way. Have you not been able to see it coming? Don't tell me you're good for nothing in combat. On the ground, you could see how Grand Priest spitted out large amounts of blood. No, damn it. The body I possess is the perfect body. A damn Saiyan should not be able to do this to me. I can't allow it. Grand Priest would stand up, releasing all his power, even much more power than his body was able to bear. At the moment, Grand Priest throws himself against Goku, which Goku would respond in the same way. Both warriors began to have an incredible fight. Their simple blows were able to destroy everything around them because the power was amazing. Although there were not many planets left due to their fight against the deities, the few planets that remained standing were completely destroyed. Grand Priest at the time would begin to attack with his aura. That's right. The feeling was similar to a 2-on-1 battle. However, surprisingly enough, Goku was able to face both Denshiken and his aura. At the moment, the look of Goku would release a bright red ray, creating that everything around him changed completely. Ray of the Heavenly Emperor. The incredible ray was able to destroy everything in its path, just like incredible rocks were destroyed all over the place. Denshiken, with his great speed, tries to dodge everything, but instantly, in the same way, thousands of rays spread all over the place, which caused incredible damage to the entire body of Denshiken. But the real damage was in his internal system. Since he had been stunned, he was not able to release energy. No, damn it, if I am not able to release energy, this bastard will end my life. I will not be able to defend myself. Do not worry, recover. Since I do not want to end your life that way, you deserve to suffer much more. Denshiken, despite being humiliated, would not be able to do anything, since this time he did not have the power required to face him. While for his part, Whis, along with Beerus, asked him to end his life once and for all. Goku, do not trust yourself. Since Denshiken, having millions of years of life, can have thousands of techniques, it would be better if you ended his life once and for all. I understand that he is your father, but it is really better that Goku end Denshiken's life once and for all. I agree with you, Beerus, since my father has been completely corrupted by negative energy, and the best thing is to end his life. I cannot believe that I, one of the most powerful warriors, die in the hands of a dirty and pathetic mortal. Denshiken, being about to accept his end, a hidden force would be released, or rather, the last stimulus of his body. He would release each drop of energy, knowing that he was at the gates of death, which at this moment the power he released even made Goku retreat a few meters, since he was not prepared for such an expulsion of energy. Wow, did you still have much more hidden power? If I'm going to die, I'm not going to hell alone. No, you damn Goku will have to come with me, since because of you, my plans were destroyed. Denshiken had multiplied his power 100 times more, so his speed had exploded in an incredible way. At the moment, he was able to grant Goku the first effective blow, which would send him to a planet, destroying it completely. Swords of hellish punishment! Thousands of swords were directed at Goku. However, when they collided with his body, they evaporated, which left Goku very surprised. But before he was able to say anything, Goku spat out large amounts of blood while he fell to the ground. What the hell is that technique?
It has not been able to cause me any external damage. It was only able to almost destroy all my internal organs. Grand Priest would begin to approach where Goku was. Swords of hellish punishment do not cause any external damage. They only fulminate all the internal organs, just like the energy system. But you, being the warrior with the greatest resistance I know, you have been able to survive and preserve your energy system. Grand Priest would begin to grant Goku a beating, which on this occasion would be overwhelmed by all the blows. At the moment, Grand Priest, with a powerful attack, was able to send him to fly to a planet, destroying it completely. I do not even know where this power has emerged from, but I plan to finish you once and for all. I will not trust how you did it. Grand Priest had directed his last blow to Goku, but at the moment a great energy was able to make him retreat. That's right, the divine energy of the great Zeno had been assimilated completely, being able to have the ability to destroy everything like a king of everything. So the moment Grand Priest would deliver his last blow, it was in vain, since his arm was completely destroyed. A great cry of pain would be heard all over the place. However, even though Grand Priest used all his vital energy, he was not able to rebuild his arm. That's right. This time, the power to eliminate a king of everything had overcome him completely. It has been the perfect moment to dominate the power of a king of everything. It surprises me, but at this moment, I plan to finish you. I can see that if I give you one more chance, this can be catastrophic. Goku would grant a rain of blows to Grand Priest, who would try to defend himself, but it was completely impossible, since this time, although his power began to diminish in a great way, he only had one arm to defend himself, which made it impossible for him to do anything against